and be hopeful you can actually see me. There you go. Perfect. I don't do this all the time, so it's kind of a hassle. Sometimes it reaps good benefits. We'll see what happens.
Okay, where's the kind is cool sticker from?
Kind is cool. Where did I get that from?
I have one.
You have one? Do you know where? You don't know where it's from?
I don't. So I'm just seeing it again, and I'm like, wait.
I have been wondering that also because I don't have. I've had it, and I was just like, where am I gonna put this? And then the back of my phone screen cracked, and I was like, no, I'll put it on here so you don't see the crack. Where I got it from, because it's really like similar to you. Just been sitting.
Yeah.
In like a stack of random stuff for some time. You know, whomever did that, I don't know if they want it to be known. Obviously they didn't because we don't know. Where do you think you were in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah. Narrows it down to like nothing, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's kind of hop into it. So we're going to start seated again, just to practice a few breath patterns. So we're going to do a variation of a balancing breath. I just like to sit on a blanket because sometimes it makes my bum feel a little bit better. We'll do a variation today of a breath called Nodashanahan. So it's an alternative nostril breathing. We're not necessarily going to do the alternative nostril portion other than having one nostril plugged and then switching to have the other nostril plugged. So it's going to be like an elementary style of the breath first, and then we'll kind of build up to the fullest extent, maybe end of this practice, maybe next practice. So what that is doing, essentially, it's trying to balance both yin and yang sides of our body. So our yin side is going to be on our left side, yang side's on our right side. Sometimes I remember that like my heart is more centered to my left, so it's the softer, kinder, watery side of my body. The liver, combustion, just been going through a whole lot of stuff on my right side. So different types of organs even associated with yin and yang. And also, if there's anything in life right now that you are needing some balance around, we can think about calling that in as we are breathing through one nostril, breathing through the other. Before we get started ever with any type of breath work, we want to just find our own breathing pattern. So we'll start just with a few of our own breaths. Just gently in and out through the nose. Really arriving in the space. Noticing the energy that you're carrying this afternoon. Maybe call in some curiosity since there will be a few newer postures today. And taking about 3 breaths more, full cycles in and out. At the close of the next exhale, we'll just bring one hand. I'm going to take our middle finger to the crown or center of my forehead, and then I will start by plugging my right nostril with my thumb. And so I'm breathing in through my left nostril, my left yin side body. And go for about 5 breaths, just like that. Just in and out of that nostril alone. Notice if there are any obstructions to breathing fully. finishing out the final cycle of breath, I'll begin plugging my left nostril with my ring finger and opening my right nostril up. Find my 5 breaths or so on that side. Noticing if it's harder or easier or just the same. As you complete your final cycle of breath in and out, release both nostrils and find 5 breaths with both nostrils. Back to where we started. Calling in balance for our practice today. At the close of your next exhale and inhale, we'll take our arms overhead as we move into our Parvatasana, or our seated mountain. And we are just going to breathe into our wrists and our fingertips, may even give them a rotation or curl in. Nice and tall through the spine. We have 5 breaths here. Our practice asks us to be observers of the mind and the body, and to root in nonviolence to both the mind and the body. Nice and long, still through the neck, finishing out your final round of breath in and out. Nice. We'll let the arms come down to the sides. Now I'm going to keep my blanket underneath me. We're moving into our seated forward fold, our Paschimottanasana. So I'm just trying to take myself long ways on my mat and still have this blanket under my sit bones. And again, the blanket can be used for comfort. Also, it's good if you find that it's harder to get the sit bones to be even on the ground. It's a nice little complement to it. So just as we were with our arms overhead, we're going to come back to that, starting with a half Dandasana. So think about the heels pinning to the ground and the toes going straight up towards the ceiling. Nice. So breathe here for a couple of breaths. What do you notice in the back of the legs? Whether it's the knees or the hamstrings. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath in and out here. Still tall through the spine. Your next breath in, imagine lifting through the sternum. Your exhale will hinge forward, finding this forward fold. Now, we don't have to reach for the ankles or the toes. You can have the hands draped where they are on the shins. We want to try for a long back, so less rounding and more lifting through the sternum. It might help you to look forward at the toes. Nice. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. That's really going to be our breath count for our practice today. As you're breathing, notice if you can fill up in the back side of the rib cage, allowing the full circumference of the diaphragm to help with those breaths. Just observing what we feel. Nice. We have a final round of breath in and out. Lovely job. Okay, we'll walk our hands back up after that exhale, moving into a Maritrasana, which is a twist. There's so many of these, there's about 3. We're gonna go for our first one. So let's drive our left knee towards our chest And it might help to take the blanket, not necessarily off, but to the point where it's not obstructing where your pelvic bone is. So you can still keep the sit bones comforted, but you don't have necessarily yourself covered. Yeah. So we drive that knee as far in as it will go. And the heel, maybe in a lifespan that's not my own, would tuck into the pelvic bone. My thighs are a little too big for that to happen, so we are where we are. And what we're going to do is cross our body. So my right tricep is going to cross around that left knee. Yep, the left hand's going to go behind you. And drive that left heel into the ground for a long spine. So try to breathe into the crown of the head. That's it. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. If you want to take it a step further by bending through the elbow and wrapping the arm around, it's going to be an internal rotation of that right shoulder. Nice. So keeping a long spine, 5 breaths, that's it. As you exhale, you might turn the neck towards the left shoulder. Sometimes there's a lot of compression in this pose, making the breaths a little more difficult. Try to take our final round of breath in and out. We'll begin unwinding. So a lot of complications here in the shoulder and the upper back. We'll lengthen back through our left knee, draw the right knee into the chest here. Nice. Same thing. We cross our tricep on the top of that right knee. We're still keeping that left heel to the ground. Nice. Right hand behind us. We take a breath in, elongating our spine, and our exhale starts to twist. Now, if you liked the feeling of the internal rotation on the shoulder, maybe you take that this time. 5 more breaths. Taking your time, turning the head. If you would like to try and twist more, engaging in a squeeze of that left thigh helps keep the energy going up and around. 1 more final breath in and out. Nice. Slowly begin to unwind. Nice. How's that posture feel for you?
Good.
Yeah.
We feel the constriction a little bit, but it's not in the way that you couldn't breathe. Just makes you try a little bit harder.
Yeah. And that posture can be really challenging for the core for that reason, because there's a lot of compression. You're trying to breathe and you're like right up against your own thigh. So it does make it challenging, but it's a good posture, especially for the upper back.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving here. We're going to come to a seat, moving into Gomukhasana. So Gomukhasana is cow face, both arms and legs. So I'm challenging you a little bit. These are more new postures. When I saw it just you, I was like, let's just see. Yeah, let's just try. So we'll start with our Gomukhasana legs. So the first one will be to take our right knee towards the middle of our mat, and then cross our left knee on top. Okay. So you've got your left knee on the bottom, right knee on top. Cool. So for that, then we're going to take your left arm on top. My right arm is going to go on top. Okay. Gomukhasana arms are going to be bringing one elbow up and one elbow down. Let's unwind through the arms for a second. Let's check out our legs. I want you to notice whether you're leaning further to your left or if you feel that your sit bones are fully grounded.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. We want to try to get the sit bones fully grounded. Kind of, sometimes it's a wiggle, sometimes it's a blanket. Okay. Then grabbing for your ankles. Notice if you can keep the sit bones grounded, but find a little more tightness or drawing the ankles a little towards the hips. If not, no problem. There's a lot happening with the knee, and you've got the sciatic nerve on the side. All right, when you find the sits where you want to be, now we start on the arms. So again, for you, you're going to extend the left arm up first and then through the elbow. And then the right arm is going to swing underneath. So I'm going to go opposite. Now you might have a connection of the fingertips behind you. And if you do, use that as a lever and try to find a bind and then focus on pulling the left elbow back. So you still have a long, tall spine. We've got 5 breaths here. Really being intentional about connecting to the sensations that you feel. It's very sensational posture. Beautiful, about 2 more. Nice. Begin to unwind through the arms. And then we'll begin to unwind through the legs. Okay, how'd that one feel for you?
Felt good.
Yeah.
Felt like there was definitely some strain through my big shoulder.
Okay, that's the internal rotation for that. So just kind of right in here, like a little pinchy, or
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Pinchy.
Pinchy. So just be mindful. Shoulders are such a finicky joint. They can do so much, and yet they are a little less stable than we want them to be. So no pain. You don't want to feel anything sharp, but a little pinch could be an indication of something that's just like either being strained a little bit further than it wants to be, or just so natural, like, hey, I haven't been here ever, so I'm there now, right? Reason I say that a little bit more is because the bow posture that we're getting to is going to be another internal rotation, so we just want to be very careful about that. So we'll find that same but different rotation of the hips even. This is such a crazy posture, and you might notice, yeah, one side you have a bit more availability than the other. So where you are at this point, I'm going to introduce an alternative posture for the legs only. So we'll come into figure 4, that fire logs is kind of what this one is called. So you want to keep, yes, that left knee on top. And then you might grab for your block and try to bridge the gap foot to thigh so that you aren't trying to force the foot or force the leg. How does this feel?
Better.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So then you're going to take your right arm overhead, patting your back, and then rotate the left arm under. So I'm going to go opposite. Still want to stay nice and tall. And we have our 5 breaths here. You might again notice what's happening in the shoulders, pulling now your right shoulder back. And really embracing maybe a stretch along the tricep. About 2 more full rounds. Nice long exhale, good stuff. All right, let's begin to unwind. How left shoulder feel?
Not as bad.
Not
I think I was maybe trying to pull it forward too much and just not letting it relax back.
Do its thing back.
Honestly.
Yeah, so that makes sense as far as like trying to get that shoulder to go forward rather than it's going to be internally rotated the moment the elbow does this.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to do a whole lot
Yeah.
more. Just, letting it go down and trying to still keep length through the neck. All right, you can remove the block. We're going to come back long ways to our mat. How are your knees feeling in that posture?
I was a little shocked about the difference.
Yeah.
In flexibility, to be honest.
And it's a rotation for the knees, so it's a good posture to challenge the ligaments there, get that blood flow going, but also we can't be forgetful about the hips.
Mhm.
So that's a lot of where that rotation's coming from as well. So there could be something there. All right, we'll draw the knees in towards our chest. We're moving into Urdhva Mukta Paschimottanasana, another new posture. I almost thought that you knew what it was because you went to go for your feet. But that's essentially what we're going to do, is take our pointer finger and our middle finger, those peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Okay, this is going to be a mixture between a hamstring stretch and a boat pose. So we are going to rock back onto our sit bones, try to at least find the balance, pulling shoulder blades slightly back, nice. And then one leg or both legs at a time, you're going to extend and keep your gaze going up with the lift of the sternum. It's all right if the legs aren't straight. That's it. You got it. 5 breaths. Notice the core working. Keep the inner thighs hugging towards each other. Those muscles helping you out. Lifting through the sternum, long spine. That's it. One more breath in and out. You got it. Long spine. All right, we're going to come down. How was that one for you?
Fantastic.
I had a client who was just like, I just feel like I'm gonna rip my toes off. Like I just like
my fingers are like
gripping them so hard. Yeah. Okay, we're going to come to our bellies now. So we'll explore first a cobra posture, just to warm up the lower back muscles, the core. So you can rest the belly and the chest completely flat to the ground. And separate the hands, bring the hands about under the shoulders or a little further than shoulder width apart. Great. For Cobra, we'll keep the legs on the ground. And we'll take one inhale to prepare. The exhale, we lift our chest off the ground and we might dance our fingertips on the earth. We're retracting through the shoulder blades and really warming up the lower back, keeping the front core nice and active. 5 breaths here. We've got a little back bend. With every exhale, you might try to lift your chest up a little more. Nice. Feel the quads hardening, the glutes engaged. That's it. One more. This is a full body engagement. We'll come down. Okay. So now we move into our Dharana. Am I saying that right? Someone's going to tell me no online, but that's all right. That's what I wrote down. So this is our bow pose. We can do both ankles at a time, or you can do one at a time. So it's going to feel like our cobra in the chest, and it's going to feel like locust, but a back bend in the legs. So I'll show you what this looks like. Again, this is going to be that, not really internal rotation at all, depending on how you, that's right, depending on how you grab for your feet. So if you grab on the outside, you might have more of a internal like rotation, but you're still retracting the shoulder blades. If you grab on the inside, which is typically how I do mine, I don't really feel the need that my shoulders want to go in. They just want to flare out from the front to retract through the back, okay? So when I'm doing this posture, I'm actively kicking my feet into my hands. So that's a very active first step. And this is a 2-parter. So the first part is going to be just getting into it and then lifting up. The second part, after we're lifted, will be to actually try and find the full extension through the arms, okay? So 2 parts. So we'll start with the first one, like cobra, then exhale takes you up. Nice, you're kicking the feet into the hands. Take a breath or 2 here. Keeping the inner thighs going towards each other, the glutes are active. Now the next part, this next exhale, try and completely extend upwards. Nice. 4 more. That's it. 1 more. All right, let's come down. Release through the arms. You can shake the knees or shake the legs side to side if that feels okay for the back. How are shoulders and back feeling?
Like they're tight. Honestly, I felt like a weird kind of pain in my knee, like
Okay.
my right knee.
Okay, that right knee is having a moment too, because with the cow face, it didn't want to do all that bending. And now with this one, which is a little tension on that ligament inside. So, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Any sharp pain?
That was uncomfortable. I wouldn't call it. I would stop if it was.
Okay, cool.
Bad.
Good to know. We're not doing anything more like that, so that's the last of it. But we are going to take our hands under our shoulders and come up into a tabletop. So just ground here for a moment. Hands under the shoulders, gaze is going down. Taking a few breaths here. One more full cycle of breath in and out. Again, we're not passing any judgment to ourselves. We're just observing. We'll step back into a high plank, so both toes tuck, both sets of toes tuck, and the body goes long. We continue to keep the gaze down and notice how there's a little more pressure in the shoulders. Let's keep the core engaged, finding our perfect bind from our Mula Bandha, so that's going to feel like the bladder muscles are contracting. Our Uddiyana Bandha, that's going to be the navel drawing in towards the core. And then our Jalahara Bandha, our chin slightly tucked. Nice. We've got 3 more breaths. Got it. Final exhale. Let's come back to our tabletop. All right. Virasana. We'll sit our heels and our glutes together, rocking back, giving our shoulders and our arms and wrists a moment. While you're here, you can flip the palms upwards. This is kind of a call in. If there's something that you're needing, you can ground by flipping the palms down to the thighs if you're just needing a moment to completely ground and feel your body. We'll take 5 breaths here. Okay, we're going to move into our Chaturanga Dandasana. So it's an extension of plank, and it's something that we do a lot of the times in vinyasa class, but it's done a little quickly in a vinyasa class, where in Iyengar we slow it down. I'm going to show you what it is, and then we'll go through any alternatives if you need them, okay? So it's going to be high plank first. We'll give ourselves an opportunity to settle. And then when I say chaturanga, dandasana, I mean really taking yourself down and holding your body off the ground with the gaze going forward. And we hold this, and then we are going to release into our Ardha Mukha Savasana, anyway, our up dog. Okay, so if that's something that we're not quite sure, full body going long, it's essentially holding that staff, that plank posture, just with the bent elbows, elbows tucked in towards the lats. We're going to try to hold that for 5 breaths, then release to our up dog. Okay, you can take the knees at any time, keeping the body still nice and long and going forward. No problem here. Any way you want to try it. Okay. Thoughts? Let's do it. All right, we'll walk our hands out. Again, we arrive first in our high plank. Nice. Settle in here, finding the lock, especially in the bladder muscles, our Mula Bandha, and our core. And then we come down on an exhale. So bending both elbows towards the lats, keeping the gaze going forward. 5 breaths here. Nice and strong. 3 more, almost there. Last round. Defying gravity, come on down. Nice. Up dog. Press the heels of the hands into the ground. Keep the core slightly on. Pull the shoulders back. Now we've had some tension with our shoulders here in class, so just be mindful. Three more breaths. Notice the heart rate. Down dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. We flip our toes, we pike our hips, we press into the pointer finger and the thumb. Notice if you need to walk the feet in or pedal out through the knees. Our first inversion of our class. Whatever stressors, physically or mentally, you might be carrying, take the next 5 breaths to slowly let them go, at least for this moment. Worrying not about whether the heels are on the ground, but rather keeping a long spine, tailbone towards the crease of the ceiling and the wall. Final round of breath in and out. We'll look towards our hands. Walk the feet to the top of your space, finding Uttanasana, and we'll stay here with our forward fold, taking 3 breaths. Tadasana, on the next inhale, we stand for mountain. Awesome job. First time standing in about 30 minutes. Just notice how it's feeling in the body and the mind. Taking 5 clearing breaths here. the close of your fifth exhale, we'll meet in the middle of our mat, facing our green wall here. Okay. Now, I remember telling class that Iyengar says we start standing, so the bigger muscles get warmed up, the smaller muscles, those nuances kind of are able to be understood. And that is true. And some of the postures we just did still work those larger muscle groups, so we're okay. But we will be curious to explore how it feels to be back in some of these or just standard postures that we have explored, and noticing whether those muscle groups lit up while we are in things like that finger grab for the toes, right? In that posture, we want the inner thighs to still be on and our quads to be hardened, or even like in that bow posture, same thing, inner thighs on, quads hardened. So we're going to move into our triangle posture, and we'll start to explore these movements that we've been doing. You can step or hop your feet wide, and the same body parts. Did we feel those coming on or not? So it'll just be a nice experiment. Let's start with our left side, your right side, towards the white wall. We'll tee out our arms, and we'll check the heel of that front foot aligned with the arch of the back. Taking a breath in, and we reach towards our right side. Our exhale, we hinge into our right hip. Oof. So many things happening in my body today. And we'll go for our 5 breaths. Now in this posture, we're not locked out through any joint. We are squeezing the inner thighs towards each other. Find that stretch along the outside of the left side body. Keep breathing. One more round of breath in and out. We'll rise using the strength of the right side obliques, taking our left side obliques, taking our hands to the sides and curling the right toes in. Moving to your left side, left toes towards the gray wall, again, teeing out through the arms. Not to lock through the legs. We'll take a breath in, and yeah, you might step the legs just slightly further apart, taking up some space. Nice. Your inhale will reach towards the left toes. Exhale, hinging into the left hip. Yep, same. We'll pull the right arm back, and find your 5 breaths here. Again, trying to engage the adductor muscles, the inner thighs. Still being patient with your breaths. One more round of breath in and out. And we'll start to draw ourselves back upright. Nice. Curling in our left toes. We'll start to heel toe our feet back together. Awesome. We're going to move into Virabhadrasana 1 and 3 next. So Warrior 1 and Warrior 3. We'll just turn towards the mirror walls here and step our right foot forward and take our left foot back 3 to 4 feet with the left toes pointed towards the outer corner of the left side of the mat. Okay. We'll bring our hands to our hips for a moment and shift to make sure that our hips are square to the front. We'll then bend through the right knee and keep your left heel planted on the ground, embracing the sensation that emerges in the calf. Now slightly tuck through the tailbone. Yep, nice fire up of that glute. Arms extend up overhead. Great, we have 5 breaths here, nice and long through the neck, dropping the shoulders. Breathe. Biggest breaths you've taken yet. Staying focused here. 2 more rounds of breath. We'll begin to drop the arms and we'll step back to the top of the space, top of your mat. Nice. Right. We'll go to the other side. Our right foot floats back into space. That right heel planted on the ground, toes flipped out towards the top of the right corner. Great. Hands to the hips. So to square the hips, this time we might feel the press of the right hip forward, the pull of the left hip back. We'll bend through the left knee, slightly tuck the tailbone. Beautiful. Arms extend up overhead. That tuck of the tailbone, critical. We don't want to have an anterior tilt or the hips going back because it depresses or compresses, our lower back. 5 more breaths here. Nice and tall to the spine. Biggest 3 breaths you've taken yet. Final round, in and out. And we drop our arms, we step our foot back to the top of our space, and we mentally start preparing ourselves for Virabhadrasana 3, that warrior 3. So we are going to extend our breath count for warrior 3 to 6, not too crazy, but that one breath sometimes does a trick for us, okay? We'll start with our right foot. If you want for your block, go ahead and find it. If that's a tool that you want to use to make sure that you find a stable foundation. As a reminder, our fingers can reach for the block and we can practice just lightening the load. So sometimes we start with a lot of pressure in our hands and we can work our way up to where we are dancing the fingertips on the block. When we are in warrior 3, we have our hips going the same direction down. We also have a slight retraction of the shoulder blades together for that long spine. There it is. Keep the core engaged and breathe. My practice from one hand to heart center. 2 more rounds of breath. You got it. There you go. And we'll come down. Both feet to the earth. Let's find Tadasana. Standing. Taking a couple clearing breaths here. You did it. Body, they're amazing. Our bodies are amazing. Your body is amazing. Mine is too. We'll go to the other round. We're going to drop any expectations. Whatever just happened. We're letting it go. It's a practice that we can do on the mat so that it's easier in life. Letting go of accomplishments so that we can step forward into the new challenge with clarity. And not expectation. We've got 6 breaths on this side. Keep your gaze locked in on one spot as you breathe. Nice. Slight retraction of the shoulder blades. Can you lift your torso up a little bit? Fully lift. There it is. About halfway through. You got it. It's all right. One more full round of breath, in and out. Nice. Let's return to Tadasana. Standing up, both feet on the ground. We'll come to face the green wall here. No more balancing for today. We've done a lot. We still do have a few more active postures though. We'll take our arms up overhead for our Urdhva Astasana. So it's an extension of how we started, seated, but now we are using our feet. Notice all four corners of the feet, inner ball, outer ball of the foot, the heel. Notice the fingers and the wrist. We've got 3 breaths here. Notice the engagement of the legs. We take a breath in, chair Utkatasana on your exhale, bending through both knees, sending the hips straight back. We want to be able to consistently look down and see our toes. Now, when you get to a spot that feels sensational but that you can maintain, we'll stay and breathe. You might even pick the toes up off the ground. 5 breaths. Notice the inner thighs actively. They should feel like there's magnets trying to pull them together. But the glutes are actively working to keep the legs right where they are. 2 more rounds of breath. Can you sink down a little lower? Last round, there it is. Back to forward fold. Next exhale, all the way down. Beautiful, tucking through the chin if that feels good. I'm gonna give us a couple more options for this forward fold. You can stay right where you are. You can take the hands behind the legs, wrapping around the ankles. If that feels okay and accessible, you might take the fingertips to the ground behind you and start to walk the fingers a little bit further away from the body. Careful not to lock out through the knees. We have 5 more breaths here. Each exhale offers a little bit more space in the forward fold. Nice. That ring finger, middle finger, keeping you secured. 1 more round of breath. All right, we'll come back to tabletop, grounding down yet again. And if ever you would like some comfort under the knees, you can grab for your blanket and bring it under the knees. We are going to be on our knees for another full posture, camel. Really, I should have called this the flow for the inner thighs, because a lot of what we're doing is inner thigh activation. Okay, so let's just ground in tabletop for a couple of breaths here. Now drop all the activity from that standing series. Imagine yourself growing roots from the fingertips into the ground. Another full round of breath in and out. We'll begin to stand on the knees, preparing for Ustrasana or camel pose. There's an option to grab your block here, just to continue that inner thigh adductor muscle work. It's completely optional, but if you would like, you bring the block in between the thighs, and you want to feel the compression. You want to feel that squeeze. You want to keep that squeeze the entire time. From here, we'll take our hands to our lower back. I'm just going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. My hands are flipped down as though I'm gripping my gluteus medius. I'm going to draw my shoulders back, feel the shoulder blades coming together, and then I slightly gaze up. Don't forget about that block. We're going to feel that compression as though you're holding on to $1 million. You don't want to let it go. We'll press the hips forward. Keep the core active as we embrace this back bend. We have 5 breaths here. You can hold the hands right where they are, or you can try to reach down for the ankles, keeping that block squeeze. The ankles always feel so far away. Not today.
It's just.
The ground. Yeah. Nice. Good reset. Hips going upwards. This is a back bend more than it is a lean back. There it is. Keep breathing. Nice. Creating lift through the sternum. There it is. One more round of breath in and out. Press the hips forward. Keep the core active. A lot going on there. Yep. Let's come back to neutral. Spine straight. Nothing happening here. All right. Let's release the block. We'll come to sit. Let's talk about it. All right. How'd all that feel for you?
Good reminder that it's a back bend, not a lean. Like actually engage those muscles rather than just maybe a weird stretch.
Yeah, and it's a great stretch in itself with the hip flexors.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we start to lean, we kind of lose that stretch. If we start to
lose control.
Yeah, something else going on. How's the knee feeling?
The knee was fine with that.
Okay. How was the knee and chair?
Fine.
Okay. The way that the legs are in chair, we kind of want to think about that. We won't do bow again today. That's not happening. But we kind of want to think about that parallel nature in our bow. And the same elements are happening. The knees are bent. The legs are pulling in. And next time I might even engage a strap around the thighs so that you are careful not to flare out. Because that is something that happens. So just keeping that in mind. All right. We have 2 more postures, and then let me not lie. 3 more postures. Navasana boat. I won't ever forget. Someone wants to work their core. So we'll start with our full boat here. We're going to go 8-8, and then shoulder stand, which is going to be our last pose. So we'll start with our full boat, drawing the knees in. We'll start with the toes on the ground, creating lift through the sternum. The gaze goes upwards, as does the energy. And when you're ready, you'll disconnect the hands from the knees and maybe bend the knees at 90 degrees. To start, we have 8 breaths. Notice the thighs going towards each other, the inner thighs. There's a lot of deep contraction in the core. Keep breathing. About halfway through, if you want to take this any further, maybe you straighten through the legs. You might even take the arms overhead. 2 more breaths. That's it. Long spine. You got it. All right. Let's come down, finding your butterfly bound angle posture for a moment. And now we'll walk our legs out, ground through the soles of the feet as we prepare for our low boat. The options that we have for low boat is hands can come behind the head. What's the other one? Arms go up overhead, which seems to be very difficult for me. So you decide. We also have the option to keep the legs grounded and lean the torso back, or plant the hands and kick the legs back. These are evolutions. You can start one spot and go somewhere else. We've got 8 breaths. So let's choose how we want to get started. And we'll begin. We want to have the gaze in line with the toes. Keep breathing.
The inner thighs, again, pulling the thighs towards each other. Halfway through, 4 more rounds. Feel the squeeze of the bladder muscles. Mula Bandha on. Embrace the sensations. 2 more breaths. Last round. We'll lay back. Oh, man. All right. Have you done shoulder stand before?
No.
No. Okay. We've done a lot of new things today, so I'm gonna skip that one.
Okay.
If you want to get a preview of what it kind of feels like,
It's not really at all the entire sensation, but we can get a jump start in that direction by bringing a block under the sacrum. So it's the inverted triangle at the base of the spine. Nice. And when we lean back,
we want to feel complete support. So we don't necessarily want to feel like our lower back is not supported. How does that feel?
Good.
Good? Okay. Where you are, you can stay. You can also practice kicking the legs up for a waterfall action here. But if that posture that you were just in feels good, it is a nice stretch of the front side of the body. So you can stay here for a couple breaths and then go back to that. How this is a preview of the shoulder stand is that we begin to get comfortable with weight in our upper back, and shoulders and back of head. Shoulder stand by definition is an inversion. We're slightly inverted here with the heart over our head. And if you liked that leg down, you can go one leg at a time down or both of them down at a time. Completely different sensations, yeah. And they can be straight so the heels can come to the ground. And that's really where if you do one at a time, you might feel some differences. We'll take the next few moments here before we find a completely flat Shavasana. When you're ready, begin to bend through the knees, take the feet flat to the ground, and gently lift your tailbone off the block and bring yourself flat to the ground. We'll take the next couple moments here for our integration, just noticing how our body feels after all of that new stuff.
we'll begin waking the body, just gently breathing deeper, maybe soft movement, fingers and toes. And when ready, you can find any bigger movements that suit you, shaking head or extending the arms overhead. And if it feels good, you can curl into a ball on either side of your body, just a symbol of a rebirth. Our yoga practice offers us the journey of a cycle, death being the shavasana, the end and close, and our fetal position symbolizing something new to come. When ready, we'll find the seat to close our practice. It's okay to keep the eyes closed or low during this transition. And we'll end with our shared breath. And inhale, extend the arms overhead. Reach for a peaceful day, a joyous day. Seal the hands at the top and bring the hands to heart center. I offer the reminder that you are doing the best you can on this journey, and the light in me sees and honors the light in you. With love and grace. Namaste. Thanks, Cam. Okay, I put you through a lot of new things. I'm not gonna lie. I saw you and I was like, all right, I'm gonna test the boundary a little bit just because it helps me get to know where body. So like and subscribe. Yay. Okay. Thanks for the reminder because I'm like so bad at